The void crackled with plasma fire as the alien armada advanced through the Leora system. For weeks, the Kalthari Empire had crushed system after system, their massive dreadnoughts reducing entire civilizations to ash. 36 worlds had fallen, their defenders scattered like leaves before a hurricane. Commander Jace Morrison watched the tactical display aboard the TCS Independence, humanity's newest experimental battleship. The ship's crew remained silent as reports filtered in from the outer system. The Rovan Defense Fleet, considered the finest in the sector, had engaged the Kalthari Advance Guard. In less than 20 minutes, their legendary warships became debris clouds. Status on the refugee convoy? Morrison asked. 2 hours behind schedule, sir, Lieutenant Kim reported. They're carrying 3 million civilians from the evacuation zones. Morrison nodded grimly. The Independence stood alone, between the Kalthari Armada and those refugees. Earth High Command had ordered them to delay the enemy advance, giving the convoy time to reach the jump point to safety. Sir, called out Ensign Park from navigation, the enemy fleet is adjusting course. They've spotted us. Through the forward, viewports, the Kalthari Armada emerged from the stellar interference. 47 dreadnoughts, each one the size of Manhattan, their hulls bearing the scars of countless victories. Energy shields shimmered around them like protective cocoons. Behind these titans, hundreds of cruisers and destroyers filled the void. Incoming transmission from enemy lead ship, Communications Officer Williams announced. The hollow screen flickered to life, revealing a towering figure with 4 arms and crystalline armor. The Kalthari Supreme Commander Terran regarded the human ship with what might have been amusement. Primitive vessel. Terran translated voice resonated through the bridge. You dare position yourself between the Kalthari Empire and our advancement? Stand aside or be consumed. Morrison straightened in his captain's chair. This is Commander Jace Morrison of the Terran Battleship Independence. You will not proceed further into this system. The alien's laughter echoed like breaking glass. Single vessel against our armada? Your species' reputation for irrationality appears warranted. We offer mercy. Retreat now and report to your leaders that the Kalthari Empire comes. Negative, Morrison replied firmly. You've encountered Terran defiance. The transmission ended abruptly. Terran had grown tired of negotiation. All hands battle stations, Morrison ordered. Klaxons wailed throughout the Independence as the crew scrambled to their positions. Helm, position us between them and the civilian convoy vector. Lieutenant Garcia, bring the Ragnarok system online. Garcia's fingers danced across her console. Ragnarok system charging, sir. We're at prototype status. No guarantees. Nothing about this situation comes with guarantees, Lieutenant. The Kalthari Armada responded to the defiance by opening fire. Hundreds of energy beams converged on the Independence's position. The human ship's shields flared brilliantly under the assault, absorbing the initial barrage. Shields down to 60%, Garcia reported. They're focusing fire on our position. Return fire with forward batteries, Morrison commanded. Target their lead dreadnought. Quantum torpedoes erupted from the Independence's launchers, streaking through space toward the enemy formation. Most detonated harmlessly against Kalthari shields, but a few penetrated, causing minor explosions along the dreadnought's hull. Minimal damage, sir, Park observed. Their shields are adapting to our weapons. Morrison had expected this. The Kalthari Empire had conquered dozens of species, each with unique weapons technology. Their defensive systems had evolved to counter multiple threat types. Continue evasive maneuvers. How's the Ragnarok system? 70% charged, Garcia replied. The gravitational fluctuations are destabilizing power flow. The Independence twisted through space, its modified engines pushing the battleship beyond normal operational limits. Terran engineers had designed the ship for exactly this scenario, facing overwhelming odds through technological innovation. The Kalthari pressed their advantage, their formation tightening around the lone defender. Plasma cannons and disruptor. Beams hammered the Independence's shields, which continued to weaken under concentrated fire. Shields at 20%, Williams warned. Another hit like that. Sir, Garcia interrupted. The Ragnarok system is online. Full power achieved. Morrison gripped his armrest. Lock onto the enemy center mass and fire. The Independence's primary weapon charged with energy that made nearby space ripple. A brilliant lance of exotic matter erupted from the battleship's bow, striking directly into the Kalthari formation. The beam caused a chain reaction as it hit the first dreadnought. Matter conversion technology turning mass into energy at the quantum level. The explosion outshone the system's star for several seconds. When visual cleared, 7 Kalthari dreadnoughts had vanished completely. Others showed massive damage, their shields overloaded by the proximity blast. The perfect formation broke apart as surviving ships attempted to compensate for their losses. Silence stretched across the bridge as the crew witnessed the devastation. Ragnarok system cycling, Garcia reported. 40 minutes until next firing sequence. The Kalthari recovered faster than expected. Terran Keth's voice crackled over the comm system. What manner of weapon? You've witnessed human ingenuity, Morrison interrupted. We don't match you in numbers, but we excel at finding solutions to impossible problems. The remaining dreadnoughts. Reorganized, but something had changed. Morrison noticed hesitation in their movements, their advance faltering. For the first time, the Kalthari faced an enemy that could destroy their seemingly invincible ships. Sir, Williams spoke up, the refugee convoy reports they've reached minimum safe distance. They're preparing to jump. Before Morrison could respond, space lit up with secondary explosions in the distance. The Independence's tactical sensors identified new signatures. Terran reinforcements had arrived. 5 battleships, newly retrofitted with Ragnarok prototypes, dropped out of FTL at system's edge. This is Admiral Chen aboard the TCS Defiance, a new voice announced on fleet frequency. Independence, you've done remarkable work. We'll handle cleanup operations. Morrison smiled for the first time in hours. Copy that, Admiral. With pleasure. The Kalthari formation, already stunned by their losses, broke completely as Terran battleships engaged from multiple vectors. Their adaptive shields proved ineffective against the Ragnarok system's unique properties. Within an hour, what remained of the invasion force retreated beyond the system's edge. In the battle's aftermath, as the Independence underwent repairs, Morrison stood before the forward viewports, watching salvage teams work through the debris field. 30 Kalthari dreadnoughts destroyed or disabled, dozens of lesser vessels scattered or surrendered, and for the first time in their expansion, the Kalthari Empire had met an opponent that could stand against them. The message spread quickly through the galaxy. Humanity had entered the stage, and no force would dare oppose them without facing consequences. The era of Kalthari dominance had ended. The age of Terran innovation had begun. 3 days later, as the Independence jumped for Earth, her hull bore the scars of her historic stand, proof that one ship, crewed by determined souls and armed with revolutionary technology, could indeed change the fate of the galaxy.